So we're going to start now with this the second session that it's called In Search of the Final Consumer. So the idea here is to discuss a little bit how you go direct, how you get to the final customer, but also how other parts of the market are also going direct. So you have outdoors trying to go direct to consumers as well. We have lots of competition there. So we invited some people that are either going directly themselves, their companies, or that provide tools to go direct. So in this panel, we're gonna have Julie MacKay joining us from the US, from Scribd. We're gonna have Peta Nightingale, who had a little problem, so she's gonna be a little late, but she's gonna join us, and she's from Bookouture in the UK. You have Jason Spanos from K&K in the US, which is one of our sponsors, by the way. And you have Rafaela, it's very weird to say her name in English since she's Brazilian, like me, from TAG in Brazil. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna ask them first to introduce themselves better and to make a little quick overview of what they do and what their companies do, especially concerning customers, of course. So Julie, can I start with you? Julie, as I said, is joining us from the US. She works for Scribd, where she's the Director of International Content Acquisition. And I will let herself tell a little bit more about her and about Scribd. Welcome, Julie.
I'm the Director of International Content Acquisition at Scribd, and have been with the company for almost 7 years, which seems like decades in startup world. I have worked on many facets of content acquisition at Scribd, but now the company is investing heavily in international expansion, and my team is 100% focused on international and non-English content. And as some of you may know, Scribd is a global reading subscription service, but it originated as a document sharing platform. In 2014, we expanded to add premium content, including ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and more. And we currently have over 2 million books on the platform, over 80 million documents, with over 1 million paying subscribers who come from nearly every country in the world. So that was a lot of millions to throw at you, but that is the basic overview of what Scribd is.
Thank you, Julie. And now I'm gonna go to Jason. Jason, good morning. He's joining us from Seattle, so he just got out of bed. And please tell us a little bit about you and about K&K.
Sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So yes, my name's Jason, and I've been working in technology since about 1995, something like that. And it was always about connecting technology from different pieces and different systems to each other. When I joined K&K, of course, the focus here is on publishers and media companies. And it started off connecting different departments together, right? So you might have rights and royalties, but then you've got licensing, then you've got inventory. And when the inventory flows, royalties happen, ideally for the authors, right? And all this kind of thing. Editorial office, production, even events and things like this. And it was very internal. It was, this all started when you were trying to connect spreadsheets together way back many, many, years ago, right? So after a while, you could connect different departments together and have the data flow. But there was always this wall with what was happening outside of the company, right? Then things like CRM, which we'll talk a little bit today, and customer engagement started to happen. And it was, well, what about that data that you could find outside of the company and bring it in and have it interact with the data that you have inside of the company? What could you do with that? What information is there, right? There was this old acronym, data rich information poor, right? DRIP. So the challenge has always been, how do you take what's outside and bring it inside and actually use it to push back towards the outside? So that's what K&K has been focusing a lot on. We had the internal part down for decades, but it was the internal to external and back and forth part, the customer engagement and the whole customer life cycle and journey, right? That was the interesting part, especially in the last about 8 years. And then of course, when COVID hit and people were starting to wonder, what do you do with, there's no books and mortar, as they say, the bookstores are closed and things. Suddenly it became so important to have your own direct connections to customers, right? So that's what K&K has been focusing on, both the internal as well as the external, and how do you manage that customer journey, and what should you even be looking for data? So that was a longer nutshell, but still a quick nutshell, Carlo. I hope that's okay.
Oh, no, that's great. Thank you, Jason. And the third person in this panel is, as I said, Rafaela from TAG Literary Experiences in Brazil. Rafaela, welcome. Could you introduce yourself a little bit better and tell us what TAG is, please? Rafaela?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Yes. Go. Hi, everybody. My name is Rafaela. I'm a publisher at TAG. So TAG is a Brazilian book club. We first started in 2014. It was a project by 3 guys that came from business school and who wanted to create a subscription book club. So in 2021, we'll be celebrating our 7th birthday. We have now 2 types of book clubs, TAG Curatorship, which, as the name states, sends a book each month that was chosen by a person that has a strong connection to books. It can be an author, a journalist, a professor. And most recently, we launched TAG New Releases, which sends thrillers, feel-goods, gripping novels, and in every box we send, besides, of course, the book, we send also a magazine, which comes with articles, maps, interviews, and also what we call a goodie. It can be, I have some examples here, it can be a little mug, it can be an extra book, a planner maybe. So nowadays, TAG Curatorship has 30,000 members. TAG New Releases has 40,000 members, so we're close to 70,000 members. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Rafael. As I said, Peta is gonna join us later. So I have a question for you 3 guys. Maybe you can start with Julie just to keep the rotation. But of course, you had the pandemic, but this panel, this session is about the final user, the final customer. What changes have you seen in your business in the final customers that you could identify? And could you do something about it? Could you actually use it to make a better distribution of books or to make better products? Can we start, Julie?
Yeah. So the pandemic has been such a big moment for the industry, and Scribd is really in a unique position to give people access to all different types of content whenever and wherever they are. And excuse me, our goal has been to really be a resource for those readers and help them discover books that bring them comfort during these uncertain times. And we're also working close with our publishing partners to help reach readers during a time when they're primarily at home. And when shelter in place first went into effect, we saw an increase across all reading activity on the platform, but specifically ebook reading activity, which doubled. And we think that, logically is just that people are home. They have potentially more time to devote to actually sitting in front of a book, which is something that you can't do while you're multitasking. So it's different than audio, where you can do it when you're commuting, when you're out running errands and things like that. And for example, in Mexico, we saw that readers were consuming books related to personal growth, arts and languages, psychology, history, and they're taking this time to learn and grow, and they're looking past the pandemic to where they want to be when it ends. And I think that is a really inspiring signal of hope. And we're also, of course, watching that reading activity really closely and working to be able to offer more content like that to fill the needs that people are looking for during this unique time.
Thanks, Julie. And just follow up a little bit on that, talking with some audio platforms in other parts of the world, they also noticed, I don't know if you have this kind of data at Scribd, but they also noticed that people changed the times in the day that they would listen to audiobooks, or the consumption changed in the day. Did you notice anything like that at Scribd as well?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw more reading activity during the week where people might have been working or commuting, like I said. And Yeah, so there was definitely some different activity happening on Scribd.
Okay, thank you. And Jason, of course, you are a provider of services and software to publishers. Have you seen a big change in the pandemic? Do you think publishers became even more aware of the importance of going to the final consumer and understanding the reader?
You know, every day I take a cold shower. I've been doing this for about a year. The first half is warm to hot, and then the second half I turn it. And that was what happened during the pandemic. People didn't necessarily like it, just like me, but they woke up really quickly. Some of the publishers we worked with, and of course we provide technology, right? So we had projects, and some of the projects that were supposed to happen didn't, because everybody got careful with their cash, with their money. But a lot of the publishers, I'll use the expression, they doubled down. We have some publishers that do academic, like homeschooling or remote learning. Those two areas in particular shot right up. As Julie said, suddenly audio, you know, you could go for a walk, but you couldn't really go anywhere else. So suddenly the, you know, audio consumption just, you know, went into the sky. But what we noticed, I remember seeing this article from somebody at Cisco. I've got a friend at Cisco, or he used to be there. And he said that the companies did the best were the ones that were already prepared. You know, they didn't know a pandemic was coming, but they had good structures in place. So that's why when Julie was talking about some of what Scribd is doing, I know Scribd has an active pursuit of technology. That's what we noticed, that the companies that were already in a position or already looking to have a position of good infrastructure, they capitalized on it. Yeah, they did very well. And now that I'm afraid to say rounding the corner, but I think we're rounding the corner. Now that we're there, a lot of the chaos is settled down. And I think a lot more companies are, even the ones that are not on the leading edge, are taking a good look at what they need in order to have their own D2C, their own direct to consumer relationship, because they realize that they want to minimize risk in the supply chain. And they're right in the middle of that supply chain.
All right, thank you. And Rafaela, how was it for the club in Brazil? More subscribers, less subscribers? Any differences you felt in the consumers there?
Yes, well, at the beginning of the pandemic, we were very frightened, very scared that our members would cut off their subscriptions, since everybody was scared of losing their jobs and the economy being such a mess. So, but then we realized, as Julia was saying, that people were actually looking for things like tag, you know, to read more. They wanted, I think that some people wanted to escape from reality. So they wanted to connect more, so that was a positive change. We actually got more subscribers, and we started investing more and more in the sense of community and the digital projects also. So we started offering ebooks for the first time. There was a very big chance at the beginning that the shipping of our boxes would be delayed. So we wanted to make sure that our readers would still be able to read the books. And so we noticed people using more and more our apps and engaging on online communities, such as our apps, also the online meetings. So I think overall it affected us in a good way, and we can't complain until now, at least.
Great, it's great to hear. And I would like to, you know, TAG in Brazil is a fantastic project. I can say that as a Brazilian. So it's a country with a very low readership level. And these young guys from Porto Alegre, this is in southern Brazil, close to Argentina. I remember they started showing up on my Facebook. What is this tag all the time a few years ago? And it's amazing that they got a very old model, which is a book club, just like Bertelsmann, but they made it into something very cool, and they got lots of subscribers and stuff. And I think, as you just mentioned, community is a very important part of it. So you guys have created communities. People meet. I mean, they used it too before the pandemic, and they'll go back to that soon. I hear some stories that some people got to know each other and got married in the communities. Tell us a little bit about how you make those communities, and also how do you use these communities to learn more about your customer?
Yeah, sure. Well, since the very beginning, we have simulated the local meetings so people would discuss the book of each month. And those meetings, as you said, they used to take place at libraries or coffee shops. And of course, with the pandemic, they're all online now on Zoom. But what's been fun is that we have members that go to multiple meetings each month. So they live in Rio, but they go to the online meetings here from Porto Alegre or São Paulo or in the Northeast. So they end up making friends, and it's very common to receive messages that our members have found their best friends now, or their boyfriends or their girlfriends, or people they end up getting married to on our apps or online meetings. And like I said, we simulate those meetings, but not only because it's fun, but also because we know that it's a fact that people who engage more with our club have less chances of canceling their subscriptions. So right now we have like a whole team that is consumer focused, and we even have a score of engagement so we can see how likely each person is to cancel their subscription. So if they go to the online meetings or they use our apps a lot, so they get points, and we know that that person is engaged to tag and is not likely to cancel their subscriptions.
And